Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Amani. If you're not new here, hey, welcome back. I clearly didn't scare you off, so I'm glad to see you here. You clearly read the title, that's why you clicked on the video, so you already know what we're about to talk about. We're about to talk about all the books that I've read this year. I guess I should start off by telling you guys what my goal was for the year. It is 80 books. Last year it was 60. I went over 60 and I was like, you know what? If I can go over 60, and that was by the end of November, I can definitely hit 80. So my goal right now is 80, and I am very close actually. I read 50 books so far. As of yesterday, I hit 50 and we're gonna talk about them. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I don't have a Kindle, and I want one really bad, but I'm trying to make use of the things that I already have because I have a money problem. Like, I love to spend money. Like, I love it. And so I will buy things that I don't necessarily need. And it's very evident if you look at my bookshelf. I'll insert a picture. That's a lot of books, ain't it? Yeah, I currently own 217 books, and those are just the ones that I really liked, that I liked so much that I bought them. Not all of them actually fall under that category, but a majority of them do. The other ones that I bought were probably because they were cheap, and I was like, why not? So today we're going to be using my iPad, and we're going to be using the Notes app so we can go through all the genres in the books that I've read this year. I compiled a list of if I would recommend them or not. Some of them are not hate reads, but I definitely read them because I just needed to see what the hype was. I was on, you know, Book Talk and BookTube and Booksta and Bookstagram and all the things, and everybody was like, oh my god, like, this book is just like life-changing. And I was like, well, let me see. And some of them were life-changing, and the other ones I was like, okay, I see your taste. So before we even get into that, actually, I do want to say that, like, this is not any shade or hate or anything of that nature towards any of the authors, because it takes a lot to write a book, to publish a book, to do all the things that come with writing, especially when it's something that you really love and it's a passion and all the things. And I love that people have passion strong enough to, like, make money off of them. These just weren't my cup of tea. I read them, I wasn't a fan of them, and we move on. I say that because I have a Booksta. I'll put that on the screen as well. And I post my book reviews there of, like, if I loved it, if I hated it, if I think something needed to be changed, or whatever the case was. And I had posted one book, and I got, like, not hate, I'm not like a celebrity like that, or I'm not big like that, but I did get a couple of DMs like, what is wrong with you, question mark, question mark, question mark. And I'm like, yo, I didn't know it was a crime to have an opinion. But all that to say, now we can get into it. Hi baddies. Okay, so we're just gonna hop right into it. I got the handy dandy iPad, and yeah, I compiled a list in my notes of the different genres that I've read this year. So it was romance, fantasy, thriller, mystery, literary, and contemporary fiction. So we're just gonna go genre by genre, because if you don't want to hear about a certain genre, you can definitely just skip ahead. Or if you're looking for any recommendations or whatever, you can, you can just hop between each one. So I'll say it right now, we're going into romance first, okay? Because that's what I started the year off with, and that's what came first whenever I was doing my list. So the first two books are Release Me and Reclaim Me, and they're both by J.L. Seegers. They're a part of the New Haven series, and they are fabulous. I would absolutely recommend. Now, these are the third and fourth book of the series. There's, I think, 3 more ahead of that one, but I read that in 2025, so like last year. And the first book in the series is called Restore Me. Fabulous series. This was also my introduction to J.L. Seegers, and I love her. I want to meet her. I want to pick her brain. Like, she's fabulous. I love her. She's a little more, like, she gets down a little more, okay? Because, like, I was used to reading, like, Kennedy Ryan, and then I got introduced to Danielle Allen and Natasha Bishop and J.L. Seegers, like, all in the same, like, breath, and I was like, whoa.
Okay. Okay. Wow. First thought, transcending the game. Like, it's like,
I didn't realize like we could, you know, elevate like this. But yeah, I would definitely recommend these two. Then we have another book by Jail Seekers. It's called Again. I didn't hate it or anything. Like, it wasn't like but it wasn't you know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel any like emotional attachment to this book like I did with her other books. And now I would recommend it though for people that don't want to get involved with a series, if that makes sense. Because again, I want to say it's a novella, so it's like a short story type of book. Like, it's not the same length as her other books, and the other books that I've read by her are in the New Haven series. So like, if you're not trying to get involved with like a bunch of different, you know, liaisons and connections and all that like that, I would suggest the book if you just want like a short, cute little story. But if you want something like that broke my heart, I wouldn't recommend. After that one, so this one, ooh, please guys, don't fight me, but like, I totally understand if you want to jump me. I saw this one on TikTok, okay? It's called Fast by, I want to say, Millie Belizaire. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. I saw this one on TikTok and I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna see what's up, because everybody that I saw that I follow was like, oh my god, this book is amazing, beautiful, gorgeous. And I was like, ooh, okay. Everybody was like talking about how they cried during the book, and you know, like, the love story is just so great, blah 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 blah. So I was like, all right, like, let's see what's up. I got the book, I downloaded it on Kindle, and no hate and no shade, I just was not a fan of that. I don't know if it was because it was too close to home. I really don't do well with books that involve domestic violence or, you know, sexual violence. If it has anything of that nature, my stomach flips and turns, and it makes it very hard for me to get through it, because I'm just like, no thank you. It's just no. When you experience like something like that in real life, and you know people that have also been on that same, like, or have had that same experience, it just makes it yucky to read about. I feel like if I hadn't had any of those experiences, I probably would have liked the book. But yeah, that's just my thing on it. I wouldn't recommend it. The next one is In Her Own League by Liz Tomford. Guys, okay, so this is a standalone, but it's also the continuation of like a universe, if that makes sense. So the books that come before this one is called the Windy City series, and it starts off with Mile High, and that's how we meet like all the characters that we meet up until In Her Own League. And I'm not gonna lie to you, even though I didn't read Mile High this year, I read it last year, so I'm not including it in the 50 book count. But when I read Mile High, I had to read it twice, because the first time I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I didn't like Xander's, and I didn't like that Stevie wouldn't use his money. I just feel like if we're gonna have a billionaire trope, like, girl, lean into that billionaire. I don't know why we're doing all this back and forth, and oh, I can pay for it, and I can. He gave you the money, use it. I don't, but that's just me. So I had to go back and reread it, because I really wanted to read the rest of the series. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna try again. So I reread it, and like, I looked at it from like a different angle, and I was like, all right, I can get behind it. And so after I read that, I read the rest of the series, and that is one of my top 5 series that I've ever read, and I love it. And so when I found out that she was coming out with another book, there's 5 in the Windy City series, and then this one again is a standalone. When I found out she was coming out with another one, I thought she was continuing the series, and I was like, oh, I thought we were done. And essentially we are done, but we did get to meet a couple new characters that are going to be in her new series that she's currently writing. And we got to hear about the dad of one of the, I guess, like, wives of the player. They're all connected. It's a big found family trope situation happening, and I would absolutely recommend this. I would say you should read the Windy City series, because while it is a standalone and you can get more than enough like backup info or background info on the other characters, something about it is just so, I don't know, something about reading the original series and then reading the standalone just fills me with warmth. So I would recommend. After that one, we have The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. Rebecca, come to the front. When I tell you, like, I cried for 40 days and 40 nights because I didn't know it was gonna get that emotional. I didn't know we was gonna get that deep. Not for real. I picked this book up thinking it was gonna be a cute little, you know, military romance where, like, she meets the love of her life over, like, exchanging letters, and he meets the love of his life, and it's just so great. And then he, like, comes back from, like, being overseas or being deployed, and they live their happy little life, and they get a dog. And no, that's not at all what that book was about. There were letters, but there was so much death. I don't want to spoil it, but I definitely would not recommend reading that book in public, like I did. I'm stupid. I'm over here in a coffee shop thinking I'm being, like, aesthetic and cute, and I'm sobbing. I need to go home. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you like emotional, like, heart-wrenching, like, you can feel it in your gut kind of emotions. Yes, I would recommend. Now, if you don't like anything sappy and you don't like anything that includes, like, grief or death or anything like that, then I wouldn't recommend it. But yes, I feel like everybody needs to read it. So yes, especially if you liked her Fourth Wing series. Like, I like that she could switch genres like that, because Fourth Wing is clearly like a fantasy situation. I think it's also being turned into a television show with Michael B. Jordan as the producer. I will be turned on. No, I'll be tuned in. But I really like that she could switch from fantasy to, I think that's what, like, well, it's romance, but I also think it's like contemporary romance. So love that. So then after that, we have Big Girl Blitz by Danielle Allen. So now this one was a part of a series as well. It's the Curvy Girl. I actually don't know the title of the series, but Curvy Girl Summer is in it. And then what's the second one? Plus Size Player. Now, out of the trio of books, Big Girl Blitz is the third one. I didn't like it as much as I liked Curvy Girl Summer. Curvy Girl Summer, like, looped me in, hooked me. I was like, wow, this is fabulous. And then Plus Size Player, I was like, okay, I like this too, because it goes over, like, the lives of a trio of friends. Like, it's these three women that are plus size. So that's also what, like, immediately roped me in, because you don't see too many, like, love stories where the female main character or the love interest is a plus size woman. Usually, if they are a plus size woman, they were former plus size women and now are, like, skinny or something like that. And I'm glad that Danielle Allen didn't turn those women into, like, you know, like, she didn't Ozempify them. Like, she didn't give them Ozempic and was like, okay, now they can be loved. It was very much like, I have this weight on me and I can still be loved because I'm also great and fabulous and I'm beautiful. Like, there, you know what I mean? Like, there was no, like, either or. And so many stories give you an either or situation. It's like, oh, I was fat, so nobody wanted to be with me. And then it was like, okay, when I got skinny, all these people are on my body. And while that is true in some things, it's like, you were still worth something when you had that weight on you. You know what I mean? Now, my only critique when it comes to Danielle Allen books, or any plus size writer in general, is I feel like sometimes we go with the society plus size instead of, like, legitimate plus size. I'm not saying that anybody's body is the incorrect version of plus size, but we don't highlight, like, the girls with the tummies and the girls with the big boobs. We highlight the girls with the no waist but the big booty and, like, the thighs, and we don't get, like, we don't get the girls that can't find their bras in Victoria's Secret, like, and they have to go to Lane Bryant, or they have to go online and go to, like, Glamorize, or they have to, like, get their bras shipped from, you know, overseas, from, like, Italy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I myself, I spend $70 on a bra, okay? There is no environment that I go into where I don't wear a bra, because if I do that, my titties hang into my knees. Who want to see that? Not me. Like, and that's not because I'm insecure about myself or, like, I'm not confident. It's genuinely just because, like, I don't want to do all that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need my areolas touching my kneecaps. It's just, it's not fun and it's not cute to me. Like, I still want to be put together. But yeah, I feel like in books we don't get that, and, like, obviously on television as well. Like, we get girls with, like, the BBL accusations, but we don't talk about the girls that have the stomach and the boobs but no booty. I'm one of those girls, but it's okay. Anyway, I would recommend that book. I'm sorry I went off on a tangent, but it had to be said. After that, I read Coach by Devney Perry. So the thing about Devney Perry, Coach was good. It was cute. It is a romance as well, because we're still in the romance genre right now. I kind of read that one as a filler. I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it, but I read it as a filler because she wrote this book called Shield of Sparrows, and we'll talk about that later in this video. That was so fabulous, so fantastic, and I was waiting for her to come out with the second book, which is like Rights of the Starling or Rights of this, whatever. I was waiting for her to come out with the second book, and so I was like trying to find other books by her, and that's how I stumbled upon Coach. Fabulous. I like it. I would definitely recommend. After that, we have Until I Die by Deidre Duncan. The thing about this one, so now this is like a dystopian romance, okay? Like, we got a little bit of like a magical element in here. So like, I didn't want to put it under fantasy because that's not fantasy. But it is dystopian. The issue that I had with this book was that I felt like we were moving too fast. And I don't know if that's a skills issue for me, because I like slow burn. Like if we were to put all of my favorite tropes in a bowl and like pick one out, like slow burn, second chance romance, found family, like those would be in my like top 3 or 5. So when I read something and they move in a little like probably normal, I'm always like, that's a little fast for me. But like that's also because of who I am in real life. Like I am a big fan of like a slow burn romance, but it was entertaining to say the least. I will say that much. I just don't think I would reread it again. And maybe that's what we need to be talking about in this video. Maybe I need to say that instead of recommendations, because I feel like I keep going back and forth about, yes, I do recommend, and then I'm like, no, I don't, but then I do. So actually what we're gonna say is if I would reread it. If I would reread this, I wouldn't. So I wouldn't be rereading it. I just wouldn't reread it. Oh shoot, my iPad. Oh, I thought it died. I was like, no. After that, we have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Now this is a recent read. Like I literally just read it last week. Very cute. Very cute with like some realistic themes. The main woman, or the main female character in this book, I cannot remember her name for the life of me. But her mom had dementia, and I thought that was a pretty cool, like, not that her mom had dementia, but I thought that was like a cool way of like including like real life issues, because I know that it's like such a scary topic to touch on, you know, like you're alive but you don't remember anything like that. That really sucks. So I guess that I thought it was cute. I also thought that was a realistic one. I would recommend it, or I would reread it because it was realistic. Like the man in the story, he was a vet and he was like saving money. They talked about him taking like loans out of the bank and stuff so he could run his clinic and things of that nature. And I was like, wow, like I feel like I'm talking to a friend, you know what I mean? Like about like whatever issues that they've got going on in their life. Like sometimes when I read romance books, I feel like we lose the plot, or like we're too deep into the plot. Like they'll do stuff like, you know, I feel like the only way to be dramatic or like go to ends of the earth and stuff like that is in fantasy books or romantasy books. Like, oh, I'll quit my job and be with you kind of thing is like, for me, fantasy. But I know that for some people that's realistic. For me, it's not. But I did enjoy that book, and I would definitely reread it if I had the opportunity to. I mean, I do have the physical copy, so I do have the opportunity to. After that one, we have Between Friends and Lovers. I do not want to mispronounce her last name, but her first name is Charlene. And that was a 5 out of 5 star read for me, honey. This is also recent. I read it last week, and I would read it like 20 times over because I just loved it. It was so fun and cute and also realistic. It's not my realism, like it's not my real life, but I can see how it works for somebody else, if that makes sense. So I would reread that one. Then we have All the Men I've Loved Again by Christine Pride. I read this for my Valentine's Day books. Like I had like a list of books that I wanted to read for Valentine's Day, and this was one of them. And if I'm remembering correctly, I wasn't the biggest fan. I went in with really high hopes because I had bought this book actually for one of my best friends for her Valentine's Day basket that I made her. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have got this for myself. So I ended up getting it off of either Book Outlet or Thrift Books for, you know, a significantly cheaper price. And it did take me a couple days because I just wasn't feeling it. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset, but like, it wasn't my favorite. So I don't think I would reread that one. And now we're moving into fantasy. So fantasy, we have the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. It has Clockwork Angel, Prince, and Princess in it. Oh my gosh. That's not just fantasy. That is romantasy. When we talk about like real lovers and yearning and like doing too much, Cassandra Clare come to the front. If you've never read anything by her, I would definitely recommend you read the Mortal Instruments series. Oh my gosh, that is like, I read that when I was in high school and that changed my life for real. It was just so fabulous. Like, I needed a Jace in my life. Like, the plot twist that she gives you, the real world like mixed with fantasy, like they have an iPhone, but they're also, you know, doing magic and fighting demons and all that. Like, fabulous. So great, so wonderful, so good. And so I read that one first, and then the Infernal Devices series is set in the 18th century. Guys, I don't even do historical romance for real. I don't. But this one right here, fabulous. Yes, this is a reread actually. I've read it twice before. I sometimes, like when I read like a really bad book or I watch like a really bad show or movie or whatever, and I'm just like ill, like I need like a palate cleanser, if you will, I go back to my roots. I reread the Hunger Games, I'll reread the Maze Runner series, Divergent, like I'll go and do that. And this time around I read the Infernal Devices over again, and it was just so great. I would reread it 1,000 times over. After that, we have One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. Yeah. I would reread One Dark Window, but I would not reread Two Twisted Crowns. And let me tell you why. Two Twisted Crowns, I feel like deviated from the plot. Like, I feel like we were here and then we were there. And I was just like, I don't like this. Especially how the first book ends. The first book is One Dark Window, and that one was great. It was so cool. Like, I've never read this concept before. Like, a girl being trapped, like, or a monster being trapped in a girl's body. Like, that was cool. That was weird and interesting and different, and I really like that. And so I thought we were going to keep the good vibes going in Two Twisted Crowns, and we did, but we didn't. Like, I wanted more about, I feel like we just were too focused on the side characters in the second book when something very big happened in the first book. Like, the reason I feel like the reason we were even supposed to have a second book is because of what happened in the first book. And I feel like when we got to the second book, it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So I wouldn't reread Two Twisted Crowns, but I would reread One Dark Window. And if you've read either one of those, please let me know, like, if I'm tripping, because I got two different opinions from two of my friends that have read it, and I don't know, like, I'm on one side with one friend, and then the other one, she's like trying to convince me, like, girl, it's so good. And I'm like, I don't think so, actually. So there's that. Then we have, okay, this is the book that I was talking about earlier, Shield of Sparrows. Baby, when I tell you, fabulous. Fabulous. Like, so good, so good. I would definitely reread, and I feel like this is a recommendation now. Go read it. Because then after Shield of Sparrows, there's The Rights of the Starling. Guys, I'm not even gonna hold you. When I was reading Rights of the Starling, halfway through, I was starting to get like low-key irritated because I was like, why aren't they meeting? And then you get to the end and you're like, oh, that's why. Like, I usually don't like books that, like, I feel like lead me on. Like, I felt like that, like, Rights of Starling was definitely giving me something. I was like, ugh, like, why are they not crossing paths? And then you get to the end of the book and you're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. So I would definitely reread both of those. And I think a third book is on its way. Girl, Dabney, let me know some. So yeah, those two. And then this one is Nolan's School of the Gifted. I sound so proper. By Derek Augustine. Guys, black boy and black girl magic. I love, okay. Sorry, I get like so excited, like my brain just like overflows with like joy, and then like I just like low-key, I'm doing it right now. Oh my gosh, just like, you know when you get like water in something that's not supposed to have water in it, like a machine or like a device. Like I dropped my frother in the water the other day and I was confused on why it wasn't working. It's never supposed to go in the water. But I get so excited about this book because it's just a really good book. I really enjoy when stories talk about like black history, and as a black woman myself, like I love hearing like the theories and the conspiracies that came with, you know, what happened before my time. Like I'm very fortunate to, you know, not be living back with, you know, all the things that was going on. And that could be its own separate video that we really shouldn't even get into right now, because it just pisses me off, because like being a black American is such an interesting experience. Like black culture is the blueprint for literally everything. And again, I said I wasn't gonna get off on that tangent, but this story in particular is just so fabulous. Like it literally is so good. It's about black kids using magic at a HBCU. Like, how is that not fun? How is that not cool? I low-key, like, the way the book ended, I feel like it could have a second one. If it doesn't have a second one, I would be okay with just the first one. But I do recommend that he writes the second one. But yeah, all that to say, I would definitely reread, because obviously you can see how excited I was and how I was tweaking out. After that, hi Solana. After that, we have, oh my gosh, we have Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf. Guys, I get to meet her next Saturday, actually, August 1st. I am beyond, or this upcoming Saturday. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I did not, oh yes. Okay. Let me be for real. Let me be serious. This book, if you like dark romance, yeah, I thought I liked dark romance, and then I read Lights Out by Navessa Allen, I think is her name, and I wasn't a fan. I couldn't get into it the way everybody was like ripping and raving about it on social media, and so I was like, maybe I'm not a dark romance girl. But this one is a dark romance, or it's really like a dark dystopian romance, and it's fabulous. She's writing the second book now, I think. And I cannot freaking wait, because that first book had me so locked in. I think I stayed up all night and read it. Like I read it from front to back in one sitting. And I discovered that book on accident. Like, to be completely honest with you, I was looking for something else, and they didn't have it on Kindle Unlimited. And so they were like, well, books similar, blah, 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 blah. And you know, you look for the Kindle Unlimited tag at the top. And that's how I picked up Daggermouth. And I was like, yo, where has this been all my life? I think it came out in November of 2025, and I've been hooked ever since. Shout out to one of my book friends, which is so funny because we were kind of like friends in real life before, because she did my hair for my 22nd and my 23rd birthday. So shout out to her for real. And then she put me onto that, and then she has a copy for me, and I think I'm gonna see her on Saturday. I actually need to text her and see what's up, because wow, yeah, she's doing a book signing with Abigail Owen, which leads me to my next book, or next series of books, The Games Gods Play and The Things Gods Break. Round of freaking applause, okay? I love Greek and Norse mythology, and baby, when I tell you Abigail Owen tapped in, she tapped in. I would reread Daggermouth. I would reread both of the books, The Games Gods Play and The Things Gods Break. Okay, and then lastly, in the fantasy genre that I've read this year is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Fabulous. Now, this is a reread, so I've already revealed myself. I read it for the first time in like 2022, and then I gave that copy. I didn't finish it, so let me not lie. I started it in 2022. I was reading it, and then one of my friends, Zaria, needed like a book recommendation or something, or I don't know, but I ended up giving her my copy of the book, and then I forgot about it, and then I was at Half Price Books a couple months ago, and I stumbled upon the book, and I was like, I've read this, and I was like, or have I not? And I was like going through the whole back and forth, and it was revealed that I never finished it. So I read it, and I would definitely reread. It was great. It was fun. It was also like realistic, even though it is fantasy. It was like realistic, like it was more modern. That's the word I want to use. It was definitely modern, and I enjoyed that. Sometimes I get a little picky or like finicky when it comes to incorporating like modern, you know, characteristics with, you know, magic and stuff like that, because I feel like there's no reason I need to be reading about somebody having the iPhone 17 and then also like trying to defeat a witch. I don't know, like, especially when like AI exists, it just makes me feel weird. So I just be like, I'm good. I feel like the best person to incorporate fantasy or like magic in the real world, shout out to Percy Jackson. Okay, that whole series is fabulous. I'm so happy that everybody is, you know, like locking in and tuning in to Percy Jackson, especially if like you went and saw the Odyssey or anything like that, like, and you're realizing that Percy Jackson is that guy. Fabulous. That Annabeth is that girl. Fabulous. I love it. So all that to say, lore is really good. Now moving on to our third. This is our third category. Thriller / mystery. What Lies Between Us by John Mars. Honestly, I would have never picked this up if it was something that I was looking for, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't have picked this up on my own. This was our book club read back in January, and it was absolutely great. Like, it was fabulous. Like, I never knew, you know what I mean? Like, I was kept on my toes at all times, and I just didn't know how it was going to end, and I loved the ending. I would definitely reread that one. Actually, let me stop, because for the thrillers and the mysteries, I don't know if I would actually sit and reread them, and this is why. I feel like now that I know all the twists and turns and the plots, like the plot twists and stuff, I don't know if like I'll have the same effect that, or if it will have the same effect that it had on me the first time, or maybe I need to read them like years later. Like, I need to forget about the book completely and then go back and reread it. I would recommend it though. And then we have Ask for Andrea. I wouldn't reread it. It was good. It was good. And there was like 2 chapters where my stomach was hurting reading this book. But I wouldn't recommend it, only if, I don't know why I ran out of like words. No. Anyway, The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. I would reread it because I low-key figured it out before I got to the actual reveal, so I would reread it. I would also recommend it. It was kind of amusing. I was definitely like kind of disturbed, but this one, oh yeah, did I say who it was by? Jessie Garcia? I don't know, but it's by Jessie Garcia. Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Crosby. That book is absolutely fantastic. It is such a well-written book. Like, oh, it, like that book right there. Actually, anything that I've read 2 books by S.A. Crosby. I've read Razor Blade Tears, and I read something else. What did I just read by him? All the Sinners Bleed. Woo! When I tell you, like, oh my God, like, oh, I would recommend, and I would reread 1,000 times over. I think I need to read King of Ashes next by him. Everybody's saying that that's their favorite book, but my favorite book so far out of the 2 that I've read is All the Sinners Bleed, because it just makes you, it makes your skin like crawl. And I love books like that. And then Razorblade Tears made me cry. Like, I'm talking like dry heaving crying, because go look up the synopsis of the book and come back. Then we have Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari Lapina. Woo! I actually made a video about this on my Bookstagram, and it has like, it's a reel of me like live reacting to the book, and it has like 6,000 likes. So I probably couldn't go back and reread it, only because I have that video out there, so I know exactly what I'm referring to whenever I was like reacting. But I would recommend the book. It's good. After that, we have what do we have? We have Run on Red. That one I would recommend, and I would reread. That one made my stomach hurt. This is by the same author that wrote Ask for Andrea, and she does this thing in her books where like you feel like you're there. And that's so scary, because I don't want to be where the characters are, because they are in bad places.
Phew. Hey, knock it off! There's a kid back there.
I'm in danger.
Run on Red was juicy. It's about these like college girls that are trying to go to like a bonfire, and they never make it to the bonfire, and it's because like there's this guy that's like tracking them. It's like actually like unnerving and very kind of scary. So there's that. Then we have Rich and Rotten by Jockwell J. I've never read anything, or no, let me shut up. I read Second Chance Christmas, or Second Christmas, or whatever it was called, by Jocko J, and I wasn't a fan of that. But I read Rich and Rotten because my auntie, hey Auntie Tanya, recommended it, and she was telling me like there was a bunch of like crazy plot twists. So I was like, well, let me see what's up, and I enjoyed it. That was actually a good book. Yo guys, I am on the Yapathon track for real, because my battery done died, the light done died, like my SD card is full. Like, what is my problem? But I digress. We got more to talk about. Okay, yeah, I was talking about Rich and Rotten by Jockwell J. I would recommend, and I would reread, and I think there's a second book. I actually need to look into that, because the way that book ended, I was irritated. Not with the author, but like with the characters, because everybody was playing. Anyway, and my last section will be the literary contemporary fiction genre. So the first one, we're coming out swinging, guys. I finally caved in and I read The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Woo! That one made me uncomfortable. I would definitely reread it, especially because it seems like we're heading in that direction. I don't know if you guys have read it. If you haven't read it, or if you watched the television show, you should know. I read it because I wanted to watch the TV show. I didn't want anything to be like too far off. So I was like, well, let me see what the book is talking about, because there's a second book called The Testaments, and there's a show also called The Testaments. And so I was like, okay, like obviously the books were that good to get a show, and I'm like, I'm kind of scared. I'm not even gonna hold you. The Handmaid's Tale was very like eye-opening, and it was actually like, I keep saying scary, but like it was frightening. I'm not even, I don't know. It's very dystopian. That is like too real. Like we live in a dystopia right now. Like the United States of America sucks. God. Anyway, I would reread and I recommend. Then we have The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. I would not reread it, but it was good for the first time. The first read was good, but to sit down and do that 600 pages again, no. I really do like long books, but that one, I like long books when they're fantasy, because I feel like you have to like build up the world and the characters, and like the possibilities are endless when it comes to fantasy. I feel like when it comes to other genres, like under fiction, I feel like you can only do so many things that aren't involving magic, you know what I mean? And The Bee Sting is just like a contemporary fiction book, and it was good, or it was nice to see like all the different perspectives that were going on and like how it was jumping from one POV to the next. Excuse me. But I wouldn't reread that. I would recommend it, but I wouldn't reread it. Oh my gosh, guys, I keep talking about this book and I need to actually get my hands on the physical copy because I like how it looks, and I love this book. 5 out of 5 star read for me. It's called The Wedding People by Alison Espache, I think is how you say her last name. And I stumbled upon that book on accident as well. I was literally just reading, I finished something on Kindle Unlimited, and then you know how they drop down and give you all these suggestions, and I think I've been saying this in like a past, some other videos that I've uploaded about how I'm on this like contemporary fiction kick, and it was fabulous. Like, this book was so good. I really like dark humor, and Allison, she touched onto it. Like, she taught like in for real, like for real, and I really enjoyed it. So I would definitely reread, and I would definitely recommend. Then we have Freedom by Jonathan Franzen. It's another one of those extra long books. I would not reread it. 600 pages is a lot of pages, and I just don't need to do that again. So no to that. But the book was okay. I feel like it could have ended around like page like 400 maybe. I feel like we were missing one of the POVs from like one of the family members, because it follows a family and like how they're all interlinked and how they all got to the place that they are today and like whatnot. And I feel like there's a daughter in it, and we don't get her POV at all. And I was just like, like I wanted to hear from her, so I wouldn't reread it. And I really wouldn't recommend it either. Then we have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. That is a peculiar lady. Okay, I would not reread it, and I probably wouldn't recommend it either. Again, I was on this high from reading The Wedding People, and once I read that, I was like, I gotta find something that matches that same emotion, like that same feeling. And so that's how I got onto this one, because I watched this one TikToker that does, or was it on YouTube? I don't know. I watched it on some social media platform, and they were just like, if you like this book, you'll probably like X, Y, and Z. And I plan on doing content like that. So I was like trying to see like what the rubric was for it. And it was okay. And again, I have a problem with like DNFing books, and I didn't hate it. Like, it didn't suck, but I was just also like, I kind of want this to be done. And it's a fairly short book, so yeah, I wouldn't reread it. We have The Unraveling of Cassidy Holmes by Alyssa R. Sloan. I picked this one up because her real life sounds interesting. I was reading about her like on the back of the book, and I was like, oh, hey girl, she's from Texas. I didn't hate the book. I wouldn't reread it. It was cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool. I feel like we should have got more buildup of Cassidy and like after, because this is a book about a girl group, and one of the main girls of the girl group commits suicide, and then it's like the POVs of the other members of the girl group, and like it flashes between like current day and the past and like how we got there. But I feel like we didn't get enough, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wouldn't reread it. Then we have The Names by Florence Knapp. Whoa! When I tell you this book is fabulous, I feel like I don't have a big vocabulary today. I'm exhausted, my head hurts, and I'm very tired, and I went to work today. But like, the only word that's coming to mind for something that is like 5 out of 5 is fabulous. And that's what I want to say about this book. It's so freaking good. It's literally about this mom, and it's from these like, it's like 3 different ways of life, right? So this mom, it's during this like time period where it's like before like phones and stuff like that, or not before phones itself, but before cell phones, let me say that. And it's about this mom that gives birth to her son, and we get 3 different perspectives of if she named her son something different. So like the first option is who was the first option? The first option, so she also has a daughter. So she has a daughter and then she has a son. The son is not named. She has to go down to the courthouse and give the baby a name. So when she's on her way to the courthouse, she goes with her daughter. And the 3 different lives, or the 3 different paths that can be taken, are all based on the name. So the first one is based off of the daughter's choice, right? So like she wants the baby to be named Bear. The second one is after the father. And then the third one is the name that the mom originally wanted. So at that time, like because of patriarchy and all that BS, the son was supposed to be named after the father. And that's what she was supposed to be going to work to do. And then we just get to see, or not work, with the courthouse. And so we get to see like what, like how their lives turn out because of each name. And then like, oh my gosh, it makes me cry. Wonderful book. I read it at work like a dummy, so I was sobbing in my office. Fabulous. Then we have Anxious People, another 5 out of 5 star book, guys. Absolutely great. When I tell you, like, I was in here giggling, sobbing, and I was just like, wow, like this is like great work. I wasn't lying. I'm not lying. It's just too good. It's too good. I would reread it 100% and I would absolutely recommend it. Take a shot every time I say fabulous, fantastic, or literally, or fabulous. Yeah, or absolutely. And then last but not least, this is the one that I just recently read. It's called Black Bag and it's by Luke Kennard or Kennard. I don't know how to say his last name. It's a book based in the UK, and maybe that's where I need to move because, ew. But no, that was really good too. You can tell like I'm getting tired by the end of this video because I keep saying like really good and fabulous and fantastic and great. But truly, genuinely, like Miss Anaya says, like genuinely, yeah, I would absolutely reread that. But yeah, these are all the books that I read. I hope you guys enjoy so far. I'm currently reading It's Been a Pleasure, Noni Blake. It's super cute. It's about this girl, or not girl, this woman that goes on what she calls a pleasure quest. She was in a relationship for like 9 years or something crazy like that, and she's like just trying to discover who she is. She's a bisexual woman, so I love anything with like queer representation in it, and I'm really enjoying it. She's Australian. But yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. I should finish it today, low-key. I'm like halfway through. I'm on page, I think like 199, and it only has oh, there's discussion questions. Wait, I like that. There's 353 pages. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back with another video. I actually don't know what's currently posted. I was editing a video earlier for like my book segment of my YouTube page. I'm about to do some like short form content for my Bookstagram. If you're not following it, you should probably go follow it. If you're following it and that's how you got here, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy books as much as I do, and if you don't, I hope like we're giving you, you know, that push to like books that much. But I'll see you guys in another video. It was so great talking to you guys, yapping y'all for like 3 hours, even with all of my technical difficulties. But what's life without a couple challenges? You know what I mean? So I'll see you guys in my next video. Later.
Bands make her dance. Bands make her dance. Bands make her dance. Boy.
Girl, the way you move it, got me in a trance.